All right, members. Good morning, like some of you were saying earlier. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone out there in the viewing public and those that are here in spirit. I now call this first day fourth special session to order. Please all rise for a moment of silence. Thank you, colleagues. I now recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Ada,
Present.
Representative Atal,
Present.
Representative Ceciliana Babalta,
Present.
Representative Sheila Babalta,
Present.
Representative Blanco,
Present.
Representative Joel Camacho,
Present.
Representative Vicente Camacho,
Present.
Representative Damapan,
Sige.
Representative Flores,
Present.
Representative Guerrero, Representative Zama,
Present.
Representative Manglonia,
Present.
Representative Probes,
Present.
Representative Christina Sablan,
Present.
Representative John Paul Sablan,
Sige.
Representative Sid Nicolas,
Present.
Representative Staffler,
Present.
Mr. Speaker,
Present.
Representative Yang Tamay, Representative Yumo,
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 18 members are present and 2 members are absent.
Thank you, clerk. With 18 members present, it constitutes a quorum. And just for note, Rep. Denita is off island on personal leave, and that will reflect on House Communication 22-24. And colleague Representative Joseph Lipon Guerrero is also on leave, which starts today. His communication will reflect in the next session. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 2, public comments. The podium is open. All right. Seeing that there's none, we move down to item number 3, adoption of journals, and I now recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 3, adoption of journals, we have one item, first special session journal dated April 23rd, 2021.
Thank you, clerk. I will now recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And with that, I offer a motion to adopt first special session journal dated April 23, 2021. So moved.
A motion has been made by the floor leader to adopt first special session journal dated April 23, 2021, and has been seconded. Any discussion?
Ready.
Ready? All in favor to adopt the journal, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Journal has been adopted. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 4, introduction of bills, and I recognize Representative Patrick St. Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, colleagues. For introduction of bills, I'm officially introducing House Bills 22-72 to amend Title 6, Division 4, Chapter 1, Section 4102D, I, and the Commonwealth Code, preferred by myself and co-sponsored by other colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. For those of you that are...
Mr. Speaker, if I may.
I apologize for that. I recognize Representative San Nicolas.
This bill, Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to highlight a report issued today in Saipan Tribune entitled Domestic and Sexual Violence Still Vastly Unreported in the Sinamay. Mr. Speaker, the article highlights the fact that barriers still prevent victims and survivors from seeking help to report the domestic and sexual violations, especially in the LGBTQ community, according to Ms. Kiki Igitoy Benjamin of the Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violation, who was a panelist of Health and Welfare and Community Pride Talks panel, reported the barriers including social anti-LGBT bias, racism, sexism, and homophobia. Mr. Speaker, I believe it is incumbent upon us to pass this legislation that would help break those barriers that are reporting domestic and sexual violence, regardless of sexual orientation. And I would also, Mr. Speaker, would like to thank the chairperson of the Health and Welfare Representative Tina Sablan, and the committee members for hosting the first Cinema Pride talks here in the House of Representatives. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. House Bill 22-72 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. We now move down to House Local Bills, and I recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I just may continue on with House Local Bills. First, House Local Bill number 22-15 to prohibit a hunting of Micronesian starling or Palomansalion until the year 2025 and for other purposes, pre-filed by myself. If I may, Mr. Speaker, I would like to introduce House Local Bill number 22-16 to appropriate 78,000 from revenues collected from poker fees for the second senatorial district and for other purposes. I would like to introduce also the House Local Bill number 22-17 to appropriate 292 from the Senatorial District Developers Infrastructure Tax Fund under Business Unit 3731 and for other purposes. Pre-filed by myself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. And for the next House Local Bill, I'd like to recognize Representative Joel C. Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to also thank Chairwoman Representative Sheila Babalta, for this honor to introduce this bill. Formally introducing House Local Bill 22-18 to amend Title 10, Division 3 of the Commonwealth Code by inserting a new Chapter 15 to establish permitting requirements for aircraft and/or personal landings in the Northern Islands and for other purposes. Pre-filed by Representative Sheila J. Babalta and myself, and open to other members for co-sponsorship. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Joel. Under House Legislative Initiatives, we have none. We'll move down to the introduction of resolutions. And under House Resolutions, we have none. Under House Joint Resolution, the Chair would like to introduce House Joint Resolution 22-7 to honor and commend the United States Coast Guardsmen that have served the CNMI under the leadership of Admiral Carl L. Schultz. And if there's no objection, I'd like to again introduce this in the Committee of the Whole.
No objection.
All right, thank you, members. Just a little background. This is a joint effort we're doing with the Senate, and rather than introducing separate resolutions with the same language, the Senate President and myself have agreed to do a joint resolution coming from the House. So I thank you, members. For the next House Joint Resolution, I recognize Representative Leila Staffler.
Thank you, Speaker. I take this honor to introduce House Joint Resolution 22-8 to honor and commend the Honorable Serafina Rosario King Neighbors for her dedicated service and remarkable contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, pre-filed by myself. And if there are no objections, I would also like to introduce this as a committee as a whole.
No objection.
Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you, Representative Staffler. Both House Joint Resolution 22-7 and 22-8 will be placed on today's resolution calendar for action. Yes, recognize.
Point of clarification, Mr. Speaker, before we leave the introduction of resolution, I know that you mentioned earlier on House Joint Resolution 22-7 that you have communicated with the Senate President. So I understand that you have introduced the same resolution as the House resolution. So are we moving forward with the House resolution along with the House Joint Resolution, or just for clarification for the record?
For my understanding, we have the House resolution as our record, but we'll be moving forward just with the House Joint Resolution.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Representative Sablan. All right, moving down to the messages from the governor. I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have Governor's Communication 22-41 to 22-45.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussion under governor's communication? Ready? I recognize Representative Ivan Blanco.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Communication 22-45. If I can just seek clarification, is the letter from the governor's office allocating the full ARPA funding of $500 million for fiscal year FY21 only.
Can you repeat that, please?
So I missed where I read it, but it mentioned that they're allocating the whole amount of $500 million to different purposes. But I failed to see where it specifically says whether it's for a particular fiscal year or for both fiscal years FY22 and FY23. I just, if anybody knows any information on this, there could be clarifications on that.
Thank you, Representative Blanco. First, I'll recognize the Vice Speaker.
Thank you. And the chairman of Ways and Means, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but a portion of the ARPA funds have been distributed for the current fiscal year, 2021. And then the remaining will be for fiscal year 2022. But we got to remember that these are outside sources and there's a date attached to it. The expiration date of the funds, I am not certain the exact date of the funds, but I know that they're non-lapsing funds for those that are being designated the funds at the present time for 2021. So they carry over funds for 2022. And I guess, again, the expiration date, I am not 100% sure of when the actual expiration date, but we all know that it's for 2 years. So with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I hope, Leader, that's enough for you.
Also clarified. Thank you, Vice. Thank you, Speaker. Are you?
Thank you, Vice Speaker. Thank you, Representative Blanco. Chairman of Ways and Means, did you want to add or?
Well, I just wanted to ask, I mean, it seems like just for the operations alone, they've identified 250 million. Do you see that, Vice? 75 million for fiscal year, the current fiscal year, and 175 allocated for fiscal year 22. That can be found on page 7.
Thank you, Chairman. Representative Blanco, so clarified? All right, thank you. Any further discussion under Governor's communication? Ready? Okay. We move down to item number 7, Senate communications. We have none. Item number 8, House communications. Clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 8, House Communications, we have 3 items, House Communication 22-22 to 22-24.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under House communications?
Ready.
Ready. All right. Thank you, members. Under item number 9, we have none. Item number 10, communications from the department and agencies. Clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 10, we have 1 communications from department and agency 22-22.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussion under communications from department and agencies? None? Okay, we'll move on to number 11, miscellaneous communications. Clerk.
Under item 11, miscellaneous communications, Mr. Speaker, we have several. We have miscellaneous communication 2238 to 2244.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under miscellaneous communications?
Ready.
Ready? All right. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 12, reports on standing committee. I now recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under reports of standing committees, we have 3 standing committee report ready for House action. Standing Committee Report 2218, 2219, and 2220.
Thank you, Clerk. I now like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And first on our reports of standing committee, I now offer a motion to adopt standing committee report number 22-18, reporting on Senate Bill number 22-26, SD1, entitled to amend 1 CMC subsection 2263 to require a special election to fill a Board of Education vacancy, to clarify when an elected member of the board must resign from his or her PSS employment, to amend 1 CMC subsection 6502F, and for other purposes. Your House Committee on Education recommends that the House pass Senate Bill number 22-26 SD1 in its current form. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt standing committee report number 22-18 and has been seconded. Any discussion? Ready? Okay. All in favor to adopt standing committee report 22-18, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And second on our list is Standing Committee Report 22-19. So I now offer a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report 22-19, reporting on Senate Bill 22-50, entitled to clarify the NMTI trustee nominating committee provisions by repealing and reenacting 3 CMC subsection 12114A. And for other purposes, your House Committee on Education recommends that the House pass the bill in its current form, Senate Bill 22-50 HD1. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt standing committee report 22-19 and has been seconded. Any discussion?
Ready?
Ready? Okay. All those in favor to adopt standing committee report 22-19, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing committee report number 22-19 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
And last on our list, I now offer a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report 22-20, reporting on House Bill number 22-27, entitled to amend 4 CMC subsection 1407B to remove the 15-day grace period and to provide the Division of Customs with the authority to promulgate and establish application fees for low-risk importer applicants and for other purposes. Your House Committee on Ways and Means recommends that the House pass the bill in the form of House Bill 22-27 HD1. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt standing committee report 22-20 and has been seconded. Any discussion? Recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to go on record to take this opportunity to thank the Committee on Ways and Means, chaired by our good chairman, Donald Manglonia. I understand that there are amendments made. I just want to go on record also that I have no objections on the amendments made by the committee, and I stand ready to take a vote on the bill calendar. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Any other discussions? Ready? Okay. All those in favor to adopt standing committee report 22-20, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing committee report 22-20 is hereby adopted. We move down to item number 13. We have none. Item number 14, unfinished business. We have none. Item number 15, resolution calendar. I now recognize the floor leader for the motion for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And first on our list, I offer a motion to adopt House Joint Resolution 22-7 and House Joint Resolution to honor and commend the United States Coast Guardsmen that have served the Sinai under the leadership of Admiral Carl L. Swatch. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt House Joint Resolution 22-7 and has been seconded. Any discussion? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Abba?
Yes.
Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Selena Babalta,
Hungan.
Representative Sheila Babalta,
Yes.
Representative Blanco, Representative Joel Comotso,
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Comotso,
Yes.
Representative Damapan,
Ungan.
Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Zama,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Christina Sablan,
Yes.
Representative John Paul Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Cindy Glass,
Yes.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Yumo,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 18 members voting in favor, House Joint Resolution 22-7 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And last on our list, I now offer a motion to adopt House Joint Resolution 22-8, a House Joint Resolution to honor and commend Honorable Serafina Rosario King Neighbors for her dedicated service and remarkable contribution to the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by the floor leader to adopt House Joint Resolution 22-8 and has been seconded. Any discussion?
Ready.
Ready? All right, thank you, members. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adat,
Yes.
Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Selena Babalta,
Hungan.
Representative Sheila Babalta,
Yes.
Representative Blanco,
Yes.
Representative Joel Comotso,
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Comotso,
Yes.
Representative Damapan,
Ungan.
Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Lizama,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Christina Sablan,
Yes.
Representative John Paul Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative San Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Yumo, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 18 members voting yes, House Joint Resolution number 22-8 is hereby adopted. We now move down to item number 16, the bill calendar, and I now recognize the floor leader for the proper motions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now offer a motion for the passage of Senate Bill 22-26 SD1, a bill for an act to amend 1 CMC 2263 to require a special election to fill a Board of Education vacancy to clarify when an elected member of the board must resign from his or her PSS employment, and to amend 1 CMC subsection 6502F and for other purposes. So move.
Second.
A motion has been made for the passage of Senate Bill number 22-26 SD1 and has been seconded. Any discussion on the floor? Ready? Thank you, members. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adat, Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Selena Babalta,
Hungan.
Representative Sheila Babalta,
Yes.
Representative Blanco,
Yes.
Representative Joel Comotso,
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Comotso,
Yes.
Representative Damapan,
Ungan.
Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Lizama,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Christina Sablan,
Yes.
Representative John Paul Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative San Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Yumo,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 18 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 22-26 SD1 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now offer a motion for the passage of Senate Bill 22-50, a bill for an act to clarify the NMTI trustee nominating committee provision by repealing, and reenacting 3 CMC 12114A and for other purposes. So move.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made to pass Senate Bill number 22-50 in the form of HD1 and has been seconded.
I apologize, Mr. Speaker. HD1.
Okay, I got your back there. Discussion on the floor? Ready? Okay, Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adat, Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Selena Babalta,
Hungan.
Representative Sheila Babalta,
Yes.
Representative Blanco,
Yes.
Representative Joel Comotso,
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Comotso,
Yes.
Representative Damapan,
Ungan.
Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Zama,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Cristina Sablan,
Yes.
Representative John Paul Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative San Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Yumo,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 18 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 22-50 HD1 hereby passes the House. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And last on our list, I now offer motion to pass House Bill 22-27 HD1, a bill for an act to amend 4 CMC 1407B, subsection 1407B, to remove the 15-day grace period and to provide the Division of Customs with the authority to promulgate an established application fee for low-risk importer applicants and for other purposes. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made to pass House Bill 22-27 HD1 and has been seconded. Any discussion on the floor? Ready? Thank you, members. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adat, Representative Akau,
Yes.
Representative Silena Babalta,
Hungan.
Representative Sheila Babalta,
Yes.
Representative Blanco,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu,
Hungan.
Representative Vicente Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Demapan,
Good.
Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Lizama,
Yes.
Representative Manglotnia,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Cristina Sablan,
Yes.
Representative John Paul Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative San Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Yumo, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 18 members present voting yes, House Bill number 22-27 HD1 hereby passes the House. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 17.
Privilege, Mr. Speaker, before we move down to Mr. Dennis.
Okay, recognize your privilege.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just would like to ask the JGO committee regarding one of my bill, 22-3. I introduced this bill back in February 19, 21 on our first session. And in the last session, your committees encouraged members that have bills to at least attend their committees and try to justify the bill that they're introducing. And I did this, Mr. Speaker, on the first session, and up to this day, this bill regarding this vehicle registration, we haven't gone whether up to the board calendar for passing or anything, or any subcommittee from the JJO. And I'd just like to get an explanation as to what the status and is there any controversy regarding this bill? This is a recycle bill. It was passed in the 21. Yes. And I don't know what's the reason it's holding up. And at the same time, if everything works well, I would like to request from the floor leader if this can be placed in the bill calendar for the next session.
Thank you, Representative Joe Flores. And if it's okay, I'd like to recognize the chairwoman to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Representative Flores. We are proceeding cautiously in the JGO committee. We're still waiting comments. I have spoken with BMB and they are not in support of this bill. If you could provide research, and even the Attorney General's office has written comments that there's nothing that this bill proposes to fix. There's nothing broken with the current system. And we are prioritizing certain bills. Even my bills are in my committee and I haven't passed it out of committee yet. So it's not like we are, picking sides or picking bills that we want to pass. Even my bills are still in committee. And we are meeting every week. We've scheduled meetings regarding the bills, and at this time, the stakeholder most affected by that bill does not support it. They do not have the supplies to support that bill at this point. That's what they have told me. And I'm trying to get their written comments, and they're still, I don't know what's their holdup, but they haven't provided me written comments, but I have spoken with them. Thank you.
We'll recognize Representative Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill actually is to try to make people have their registration coincide with the insurance. It's something to make it easy for everybody to coincide with the expiration of the driver's license, the vehicle registration and insurance. If you can see the motorists out there, I don't understand why motor vehicles not going to be supportive of this, because there's been a practice that motor vehicle, the people register their cars and they have their insurance, and as soon as they register the car, they go and terminate their insurance because the car's been registered already. And in doing this, it's like we're obligating the motorist to register the car and motor vehicle to be online with all the vehicles that is registered out there, to have it 1 year to be registered. And this will actually give the motor vehicle benefit to hire personnel to do an investigative, to catch those motor vehicles are unregistered, because they already, motor vehicle will be set 1 year. Well, nowadays, every motor vehicles are being registered 1 year, but the insurance are registered or insured for 6 months. Just this bill just to make it coincide for the whole year. It's nothing. It's nothing wrong with it. I don't see a motor vehicle is going to make revenue if the motorist wants to make their vehicles coincide in the year. $25 additional. That's an option. It's not mandatory. It's an option for the motorists. And in that case, I would like to see it. We've been in the past. We've been passing bills with any other comments from the stakeholders. I don't know why we keep waiting for motor vehicle or else. Let's just move on. Let's put it in the table. If it fails, it fails. But we're not going to keep waiting until Christmas. Thank you.
Hold on. I'd like to call for a quick recess. members, we're back from recess. During the recess, we settled this issue regarding Representative Joseph Flores' privilege, and it will be further discussed after this session. Thank you, members. We'll move down to item number 17, miscellaneous. Ready? No discussion under miscellaneous? All right. Now to item number 18, I recognize the floor leader for the adjournment. Oh, wait, recognize, oh, my apologies. Number 18, announcements. Recognize Chairman Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, tomorrow will be the last scheduled date for the budget hearing, which will close out all the 4 independent agencies. So if I can get the members of the committee to clear their schedule next week so that we can go over the entire budget. That way, we're hoping to get something done by Friday, if at all possible. And so if any non-members is interested to sit in any of the meetings next week to try to wrap your head around the changes that will be made and to clarify any questions you may have, you're more than welcome to participate. It looks like JJO has Tuesday and Thursday covered, so it looks like we'll try to schedule Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to go over the entire thing. As soon as I get the time scheduled and the council and the fiscal analysts are ready to proceed, then I'll share that with you by the end of the week. Other than that, again, non-members, you're more than welcome to sit in any of these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Manglonia. Any further discussion? I'll recognize Representative Staff.
I'd just like to extend the invitation from the NMTI ICO that the tour of their facilities is moved from the 16th to the 19th at 1:30. If you would like to attend, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Staffler. Any further announcements? Ready? All right, we'll move down to adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and that was a really smooth session today, and thank you for the members for allowing for a smooth session, right? With that, Mr. Speaker, I offer a motion to adjourn subject to the call of the chair. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for adjournment and has been seconded. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, stay. The ayes have it, meeting adjourned.